We are on. Hello, Mr. Rob Hardy.
JB, man, how you doing? How's it going?
Good, sir. Hey, man, it's a pleasure to see your face all the time.
Hey, man.
So
always good to be seen.
Amen. Founder, director, producer, Rainforest Entertainment. We've known each other for a very long time. It's a blessing to see your trajectory. At some point in this discussion, we're gonna get into me holding lights outside of a liquor store, but
hey, that was real.
We don't have to have that discussion. So, today is I want to talk about perseverance. So before we even start, I promise I don't do long intros, but I want you to do an intro. Why don't you tell the world, man, tell the world who you are, and then we're gonna get into how you got there.
Cool. My name is Rob Hardy. I'm a filmmaker, a writer, director, producer. I have a company called Rainforest Entertainment. Got my start at FAMU, which we'll get into in a little while. And I've done a bunch of TV shows and a bunch of movies. Some of the movies I've executive produced is everything from Stomp the Yard to Think Like a Man. And some of the shows that I helped set up is everything from All American to The Quad to Raising Canaan, which is the prequel to Power that comes on Stars. And I've directed a bunch of different TV shows. And, me and JB go way back to our days at Alpha at FAMU.
We're so proud of you, man. We're so proud of you. One of the things that people should understand, unlike a lot of people's trajectory, I mean, you mapped this out. You had this vision. The things that you're doing now, you wrote down. You wrote in a book somewhere. I mean, you're doing everything that you thought you would do. Tell us about that.
Hey, it's crazy, like, how some of that stuff works. Like, I've always liked filmmaking. And just kind of growing up, wanting to be a filmmaker and doing some stuff in high school, and just messing around with video camera. And we shot a movie. You know what I'm saying? And then when I came to FAM, I was doing engineering, and so majoring in engineering. My line brother Tony Arnold was like, "Yo, I saw what you did with your high school movie. You ought to do that again at FAM." And we got together and put together a crew of people. I teamed with Will Packer, who was my line brother and my homeboy. And collectively, we shot a movie, Chocolate City, and we mapped it out. And then when the movie came out and we put it in the theater and it made some money, we had like brown paper bag money, but it was legal. Then we were thinking, man, we could do this. So we convinced our parents to give us like 5 years and had like a little plan so we could move to Atlanta and kick our careers off. And so that's what we did, man. Two FAMU kids in Jonesboro, Georgia. Clayco, shout out. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of went on from there.
And Hardy, one of the things I always remind people is you all's backup plan, right? I mean, you guys are engineers, right? So for you to have an engineering degree, that's a pretty significant backup plan. Mechanical engineering, is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, that's a huge jump from where you are today, right? So how do you use that mindset, that engineering mindset?
Hey man, let me tell you something. Engineering is all about problem solving. And as a filmmaker, as storytellers, that's all that it's about, is how do you solve a problem? How do you get the shot? How do you do the special effects? So it kind of prepared me. And I wanted to do film, and Will wanted to do business, but we had like old school parents that was like, well, those aren't real careers. So we wound up in engineering, and I was thinking that maybe through special effects, I could get into filmmaking. But after going on my second engineering internship for the summer, and I didn't love it, I was like, man, I got to do what I want to do right now. So my dad's thing was, okay, get your degree, finish that, and then you can do whatever you want to do. So I would like by day do my engineering, and at night we would hustle our filmmaking dream together. And that's kind of how it kicked off for us. And I've never had to use my actual degree, but I use the problem solving and the perseverance
every day.
Absolutely.
I tell people the same thing. Obviously I'm in communications and marketing, and people say, "Oh man, you don't use that degree." I said, "Man, that's engineering a solution-based thought process every day."
Yes, sir.
Every day. So Hardy, I know when you all got to Atlanta, the path was not direct, right? I mean, you all had the success of Chocolate City. You obviously were moving in the right direction, on the right trajectory, but there was a lot of in between. Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, for us, when we were away at school, when we were at FAM, we would always have the side thing happening, but we could never really quite give it all of our time because we were in school. So we had all these plans for contacts we were going to follow up on and projects, etc. So once we got out and we were doing that full time, we used up all those contacts in the first month. So then it was like, all right, well, so now what do we do? That's when you start digging deep. So, you know, we raised some money to kind of keep us going for a while. When we first got out, we together lived off of about, you know, 17 grand between the two of us for the first year. And so anytime we wanted to ball out or hang out, we would like go to Burlington Coat Factory and put our clothes on layaway so they'd be ready for homecoming. So you get like 3 outfits and you pay in installments and you get them out so you look fresh for homecoming and you go back to Atlanta starving. You know what I'm saying? But that was the hustle. And so our thing was, we were going to spend, you know, all of our days pursuing Rainforest and trying to get projects. So we did everything from wedding videos, music videos, exercise videos, all the non-sexy stuff while we were writing scripts and trying to shop it. And then when the money ran out, what we did was we started, our movie Chocolate City was in Blockbuster. And when that deal was over, we started selling those bad boys over the internet. So that kept us eating for a while. And then when the money would dry up, we would, you know, throw the newspaper or, you know, we used to clean strip clubs. So all like the big Atlanta strip clubs back in the day, like Lil Nicky's, Gentleman's Club, me and Will would show up at like 6 a.m. with boots and rubber gloves and clean those bad boys. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, when the lights come on at 6 a.m., it looks very different from how it looks at midnight when you out there balling. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I knew you all were cleaning. I didn't know you all were cleaning the at the shoe show.
Exactly. Hey, the shoe modeling establishment was in effect, bro. That's what we were.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So what kept it moving, man? I mean, obviously, again, you all, to your point, you living collectively. I think I heard you say collectively on 17 grand in Atlanta, no doubt, and you know, working these odd jobs, which that is definitely can be considered odd with an engineering degree. I think Will has an electrical engineering degree. So again, a mechanical and electrical engineer, you know, cleaning strip clubs. Hey, all power to everybody that's getting their hustle on and eating. There's no shame in that, but obviously that's an odd job for two recently degreed engineers. What kept you focused, man? What kept you moving forward?
You know, for us, it was like the motivation came from each other because I had a partner and we would kind of re-inspire each other because we were always reading stories about filmmakers that got the deal or that made something happen. And at the time too, Atlanta was a special place because like the independent movement was real big in film. So you had all these filmmakers that were trying to make it. The Acapulco Black Film Festival was just new and just starting. So you would read about, you know, filmmakers that would come out and do a movie and get picked up by the studio. And we were like, man, that's us. So what we decided to do was we needed a new project. So we wrote a project called Twa. And we were like,
yes, you did.
Hey, man, listen. We were figuring that we needed something that was word of mouth that people were going to talk about. So we thought, Menage a Trois, let's do that. So that project is what we did, and we were always kind of giving ourselves something to shoot for to keep us going. And you know, honestly, too, when like morale got bad, we throw a house party and just have friends come over. We were doing stand-up comedy for a second, just for inspiration. Yo, that stand-up comedy game is no joke. You know what I'm saying? So
you got to be brilliant.
On stage with the lights on, man. It's no joke.
You got to be brilliant to do that also. Brilliant and bold.
Hey, man, it is, that was not my calling.
Both of you all were doing stand-up comedy?
Yeah, so what happened was is that we was trying to figure out like you know, what are we going to do to kind of keep ourselves occupied other than just working, having house parties, or you know, whatever else on the side. So my thing was, well, we should rap, but we were already kind of rapping on the side in at FAM. So Will's thing was, well, I want to do stand-up comedy. I said, okay, cool. You go and do amateur night. And if you go up there and do amateur night, then the next amateur night, I'll go with you. So he went, and he went to Uptown Comedy Corner. I was heckling him the whole time, you know, but he did it. And so then the next time it meant that me and him both had to go. And so I was like throwing the newspaper and writing my routine on the side at the same time.
That is hilarious. Yeah, and obviously Pat could probably do stand-up any day of the week, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know what though? He actually held it down and did his thing. You know what I'm saying? When it was my turn to go, the next night, I was the first person on the stage, and like the MC was like, okay, this amateur night, if the person's not good, boom, next to the stage is Rob Hardy. You know what I'm saying? And then I came up. Everybody had been drinking and everybody was feeling good and the lights was on me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there you have it.
Before we move on from Twa, go back a little bit, Hardy. Again, like I said, there's a path that you mapped out when you were younger, right? There's a project that I learned about when I first met you. And again, that was, it's important and vital that you planted that seed early. Tell us about that project and what that meant to you and the path of where you are now.
So, you know, what we had was with Chocolate City, our first movie, we did that because we were at family. We wanted to tell our family story. And that was important to us because, you know, we went to a historically Black college. There was no film program. You know, we wanted to tell our truth of what it was like going to our school. And it gave us the chance to work with anybody around our school that wanted to be in the film business. And that was a big deal because FSU, Florida State, had a film program, but they didn't have a movie. FAMU, our school, didn't have a film program, but now we had a movie done by our students, starring our students and all of that. And we had a whole plan that we sold t-shirts. So people that did merch, you know, got to do that. We had posters, we had a soundtrack. My man, J.R. Swinger had this song called Chocolate City that got picked up by Motown. They came to FAMU,
yes,
we shot the video, it was on Rap City. So all of that stuff had FAMU shining. And then off of that, you know, we had plans to do Rainforest Music, and we did a tour and went to Chicago and all these places, all these things because of that project. So that was real big for us. But what that also did was it showed people that we were legit because we had done a real movie and we got a blockbuster deal. And that became the foundation for, like, you know, forming a company and, you know, deciding strategically to move to Atlanta. And because we were going to take 5 years, we had to come up with a plan for our parents to say short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals with our projects. So that's basically how we did it. And then Twa was the next evolution of that because, and in the meantime, we had written a project about bass music and the bass music business, but nobody bought it. But for us, it was always, well, we're going to create a new project to give us something to focus on. And if that doesn't happen, we're going to create something new to focus on, you know, within this 5 years. And Twa was the one that popped off because we raised some money for it. And, you know, we did it just Chocolate City style, and that really put us on.
You also did a project, or you had a project back in the day, G-Man.
Say that again. I missed you there.
I said you had a project back in the day, G-Man.
Yeah, hey man.
I went back a little further.
I got you. Yeah. Now, G-Man was my first movie. That was in high school. And I had a homeboy that had a camcorder, and we used to just mess around and shoot like music videos and stuff like that. And so then I saw, like, in my school, somebody shot like this short for assembly. And I was like, oh man, that's hot. We should do a movie. So the guy that did the short, I was like, I want you to shoot it. I'm gonna write it, even though I don't know how to write it. And I'm gonna direct it, even though I don't know how to direct. And we just gonna do something about a Black superhero. And we did that. And then my homeboy that was an artist did the poster, and we had t-shirts, we did all that stuff. And we showed it in the auditorium. And then a buddy of mine was like, yo, you should do this for a living. And that was the first time somebody had ever told me, you should do this. And that project was so big because it was something just to do for fun. And then it let somebody inspire me. And then because I had something to show, then when I came to FAM, my homeboys had seen that project. And that's when they were able to say, since you did that, we should do this here. So that just kind of showed me that, like, sometimes you just got to go and do it. And when people see that you do it like how you doing it now, then they come to you with other ideas and say, okay, John, now that you did this, let's do this. And that was really the jump off spot for me.
That momentum is a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And and what's great about momentum is that sometimes, ignorance is bliss. So you don't have to have everything all perfect or all fancy. You just got to get in the game and just make it happen and have fun. You know what I'm saying? And the rest will work itself out. And then next thing you know, that's you. You that guy.
I share with people that all the time, to your point, there's beauty in forward movement, right? There's beauty in forward movement. Sometimes you just gotta push forward.
Yep.
I know. Now we get a chance to sit on the couch and, whatever major channel we're watching or whatever, streaming service we're watching, we get a chance to look up and see these names that we know, and we're obviously very proud of you. But I know you weren't gonna think that I wasn't gonna pull G-Man into this discussion, because that's vitally important too.
It is though, man. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, matter of fact, when COVID hit, I showed my kids G-Man. You know what I'm saying? And they were like,
what did they say?
They were like, what are we watching?
That's hilarious.
They was feeling it like that. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta remind them it wasn't always this. I had to start somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell us, post Twa, right? Like you said, you told us your parents gave you and Will 5 years. So tell us kind of what that timeline is from there, post Twa.
So Twa wound up happening for us. We got the money. Well, we got the money for Twa 2 years later after we were out. Year 3 is when we shot it, and we were basically like on our last legs when we got the idea for Twa. And it was 3 of us. It was me, Will, and Greg Anderson, another fan viewer. Greg Anderson, shout out. And we were each going to raise $10,000. So we figured, okay, between friends, family, whatever, we'll see if we can raise some money, and we'll shoot it at our house. And then once you get that money, then somebody pops up and it's like, oh, well, if you can get another 5, I can give you this camera, or I can give you this so-and-so. So that kind of ballooned into us doing a bigger budget. So we shot the movie. We took it around to Hollywood, and nobody wanted it. So we got together with some folks that we met at the Acapulco Black Film Festival, and we put together a group that got us some more money to release it in theater. So we drove from city to city, from Tallahassee to Jacksonville to Houston to Chicago, promoting our movie, showing it in like one theater in each of those cities. And it made money. And, it made money for the studio to call and look on the charts and say, man, who was this Rainforest Productions out of Atlanta, out of Jonesboro, Georgia? So like, Sony called our house. Like, hey man, so what's up with the video rights for that project? And it was crazy because it was so low budget. We had to spend a lot of our profit just to make the QC right so we could deliver it to Sony. So like if you make $10 and you got to spend 5 of them dollars just to get it right, to give up, it was tough, but we were in the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, so that led to, a home video deal, and you know, we went in to meet the studio, and they were like, "Hey, what else you got?" And so we had all these romantic comedy ideas, because like The Brothers and Love and Basketball and Love, all that stuff was hot at that time. So we showed up with like the sexy romantic comedy, and they were like, "Yeah, but what about SWAT 2?" You know what I'm saying? And we were like, "SWAT 2?" But you know, we need to pay our bills, and we needed food and gas. So so we decided to shoot SWAT 2 as Pandora's Box. And that was our first time that we got paid by somebody else to do filmmaking. And we just tried to build and build, and we just felt like whatever opportunity we get, we want to treat it like it's our first, and we want to put it all on the screen, so that way we could transition to wherever we want to get to.
And then what else? What's next, man? Y'all had a lot between then and now.
I got you. So here's the funny thing. When we were waiting for Pandora's Box to happen, you know, we were out of money again. So now, you know, Will was working at a call center, and I was working for True Green Chem Lawn. So, you know what I'm saying? So I would go out to people's, you know, lawns and give them surveys, and they'd be having dogs running after you and all that kind of crazy stuff. So, you know, that was happening.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And at the time, you know, so all that was happening, and then Pandora's Box popped for us. And then we were in the studio business. So we did a few home video movies like Motives and stuff like that. And then our big break came when we did The Gospel. And that was our first movie that like the studio was going to put out in theaters, rather than us like renting an individual theater. And it was Idris Elba's first movie that he did. So it was a big deal for us. And in Georgia, we have like the tax incentive, right? Where you get rebates. So our movie was the first one on the books to get the tax incentive. So, you know, all that
really?
Stuff was, oh, absolute.
What?
Like in the
you all started a movement, man. That's economic development.
Yeah, it was at that time in Atlanta, if it was a project with Black people, it was Rainforest or Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was at that time for like the years between Twa and Stomp the Yard, in like, you know, probably like a 4 to 5 year period. That's what it was. So wow. It was a real special time down here. And so we did The Gospel for Screen Gems and over at Sony, and the movie came out. It was a top 5 movie, and that made us legit filmmakers. And that led to Stomp the Yard for us. Yeah. And Stomp the Yard was 10 years after we came. And the beauty with that was like, we did Chocolate City, the Black college story, to really pop us off and get us in the game at FAM. 10 years after we graduated in 2006, we were on Spelman, Morehouse, and Morris Brown's campuses shooting another Black college movie, Stomp the Yard, you know, which was #1 in the country and changed our careers. And then ironically, 10 years after that, went back to that same campus with The Quad, you know, a TV show, our drama for BET about life at historically Black college. So just that theme of coming full circles, those 3 stages of that, was like a big deal for us. Amazing.
So tell us, I mean, that's amazing to be able to stay focused. I mean, I knew nothing about the lawn care, pest control, the call center. I'm gonna make sure I talk to Pac about that call center. I'm sure there's some stories about that. I want to hear about that.
It's a lot of stories like that, man.
But you know, perseverance, or as you and I and Pac and other people might call tenacity, you know, what kept you moving, man? What kept you moving forward with that?
What kept motivating us was, it was almost like, I feel like it was divine. I feel like anytime that we felt like we wanted to give up, there would be some little light ahead where somebody would call and say, hey, you got this meeting for this project. Hey, you got this thing. So there would be something else that we could run to. And even if that fell apart, it didn't matter. That still kept us going and kept us motivated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then in the meantime, we would always try to do stuff that we thought was fun. That's why we always had house parties, or we would go and kick it or be social, just because we needed something to where it wasn't always just work. But you know, we loved that. And then it was great because as the more success we started to have, the more we started to like talk to our friends who were doing jobs that they hated. And they were like, yo, I got this job as a lawyer or real estate or doing whatever, but I don't love it. And I got this mortgage. And we started to see how, you know, fortunate we were to be able to do what we loved, even if we were starving, because we was already broke in school. So staying broke was no biggie, you know?
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, so then when you get a little bit of money, it's like, oh, okay, you know. And next thing you know, you're like, you're living the dream, just because you're doing what you want to do. Even if your bank account doesn't match what people think it does, it doesn't matter.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? But there's always the possibility. So like with the gospel or with Twa, you know, will it be a hit? Will it not? Pandora's box. Will it break out? The gospel. You know, will it transform our careers? Every new opportunity was a chance to like knock it out of the park. And I just felt like I was never going to get that as an engineer.
Well, that's again an amazing opportunity to be doing what you want to be doing, what you dream to be doing, and moving forward. Like you said, all those opportunities that showed you a little glimmer of hope that we're in the right direction. We're going to continue to push forward. So tell us about today, man. I mean, I see your name everywhere, Hardy. We're so proud of you, brother. You know, different projects. My boys are watching All American, which I'm sure that is not their age group. You know, our eldest is 13. You brought it up, and our middle is 11, and he referenced it the other day, and we were like, All American, and Letitia said, hey, I think that's not your subject matter, and he had already seen like the first season already or something like that. So I know you got a lot going on. What else, man? What you got going on right now?
Hey, you know, so it's well, for my day job, you know, I direct TV shows. So, you know, I've done a lot of different shows that's out now. Most recently, there's a superhero show called Stargirl that's on the CW. So I had just done that, and you know, The Flash and those kind of things. But the prequel to Power, Raising Kanan, was like one of the bigger things I just did when COVID struck. So that's like, for anybody that watches Power, 50 Cent's character is Kanan. So it's like a period piece about how he became a gangster. So it's like, you know, Goodfellas set in the 90s. And at the same time, me and Mitzi Miller, another family rattler, we are producer partners, Absolute. And so we have a company, our company, Rainforest Entertainment, is doing a lot of developing projects. So we have a movie that we're developing with Viola Davis and her company, and we have a TV series that we're developing with Michael B. Jordan. And then, you know, and then there's some other things that are set up. So, you know, for us, it's about developing projects that we want to see on the screen, that, you know, we can, you know, have some ownership in, and then we can hire people, you know, that look like us and put them to work. So that's another, you know, that's one of the bigger things too about this time is when I used to look at Spike Lee and his earlier movies like School Days and stuff, and I would look in the credits, I would see all these names of filmmakers and executives that are working today. Same thing with Robert Townsend and Warrington Hudlin brothers. They would just have a legacy of just putting people on in our business.
That's right.
So me and Will, and subsequently Mitzi, we all learned from that school of just, you know, that's what we're here for. As much as we love what we do, we're kind of in this position so that way we can open the door so other people can come through and do the same thing, and change the narrative, change the images, get paid, go back to their neighborhoods and do the same. So, you know, we've been able to keep doing that. So, you know, I'm probably most proud of that, of everything we've done.
Hardy, what about, I mean, obviously, you know, Black Men's Health is set up to focus on the whole man, right? Holistic, not just physical, not just spiritual, not just financial. Obviously, we have social and mental, everything. Obviously, it's a very, interesting time right now in our world. And to have your eye, your perspective, your viewpoint as a Black man, and still I'll say a young Black man. I know you got that little something right there on your chin, but you're still a young Black man. What does it mean to have your viewpoint, directing these shows, directing these movies? What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, and just even outside of just me personally, it means a lot to have, people of color, people like us in those positions, because we can help change the narrative and we can humanize us. We can make the characters real people. And look, everything that we do ain't all good, and we're not all bad. We're just people. So it's just a matter of making sure that we represent as people and making sure that we fight behind the scenes to open the door for more of our people, so that way we can tell our stories and we can have jobs and all of that. And look, it's not always easy, sitting in that seat. But it wasn't easy when we was doing True Green Chemline or working construction either. So it's just a matter of just seeing the blessing, but also seeing that, being in that chair ain't just about you. And how much money you could get or how much you can floss, even though that's cool, what I'm saying? But it's also, how you can also represent and how you can also help other people too.
Hardy, I know we of course, especially in the FAMU, the FAMU League, we are always so proud to see your name on something, to see you, directing some huge, network show and things of that nature. You are also a family man, beautiful wife, boys, raising, helping raise a family and doing what you can for your community, because I know you still go to the baseball games and other stuff. When you get that call, how are you making these decisions for balance, right? Because Black Men's Health is definitely about creating more balance through health. For men of color, specifically Black men. How are you making those decisions, right? Yeah, you want to be directing Grey's Anatomy or All American or, whatever it is, but also you want to make sure you can hit the baseball game tonight and things of that nature. What's your mindset? What are you doing? How are you categorizing those things?
Hey, hard conversations every year. Every year you evaluate something different. I think at first you say yes to everything because you're trying to get on and you're trying to make it happen. And then over time, you realize that everything is like opportunity cost, right? So every time that you're gone and you say yes to something, you're not home. And obviously you got to eat and pay bills. So over time, you just start weighing it. So my wife and I, we sit down and we look at the schedule and say, okay, well, these are the amount of times we want to be on the road this year. You know what I'm saying? And then, that means you say yes to some things. That means you say no to other things, So it might be an opportunity for you to go do something really great, but because of the commitments at the house and because of how you set everything up, then you got to say no to that. You know what I'm saying? Or there are other times where if I want to stay home during this period, that means I got to go and miss these other things because I got to get on the road and make that happen. So it's like, a constant process, and you always reevaluating and seeing what you can afford to miss. And what you can, you know what I'm saying? And I had a buddy of mine, he told me a long time ago, he said, hey, you can be a trailblazer and the most amazing filmmaker ever and be single. Or you can be a pretty good filmmaker and with some more balance and keep everything intact at home. But you can't do both. So you got to decide for you how you want to get it. So for me, I wanted to have more of a balance because that also helps me too. Because I love what I do, but it's more to all of us than our jobs and what we do, right? So love filmmaking, but I like being at the crib too and being with the wife and the boys and my friends. That's important too.
Well, you are not a pretty good. You are a damn talented filmmaker and obviously a wonderful man and family man. I believe you have a graduate. Is that right? Did I see that recently? You have a graduate? on your
Yeah,
hands?
so our boy just graduated. Well, he just finished 8th grade, so now he's about to go to high school. So, you know,
Awesome.
It's all changing. It's a whole lot more testosterone in the crib.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Hey, man, it's coming, JB.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I got folks around here walking around with the shirts off. You hear me? Chest all out. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, the 5-year-old eating 3 pieces of chicken. You hear me?
Absolute, man. Yeah, absolute. And then you come back and like Cass is watching, well, the youngest is watching wrestling and trying to sneak do moves on you. You know what I'm saying? Trying to hit you with stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, that's real deal.
That's crazy. You know, Hardy, obviously I always ask people that come on, you know, there's a future for you. I like to hear about that. But before I hear about that, let's go back, right? Because there's a Rob Hardy, you know, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, and that person is now listening to you and wants to hear what is their path or what can they do. What would you tell them? What would you tell Rob Hardy 20 years ago?
Hey, I would tell old school Rob Hardy, you know, get your plan together, map it out, and grind. But enjoy the ride and enjoy wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait to start having fun or start doing whatever when you get to the next level. Do whatever it is that you want to do right now, right? While you're sacrificing. I would say that. And I would say that no matter what you do, you're not gonna make everybody happy. Everybody's not gonna appreciate you or value you wherever you go. So you gotta value yourself and be willing to fall on the sword for who you are. And if you crap out, that's cool. It just means that you were supposed to be doing something different. But at least you went down being who you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, do that.
Man, one of the things that I love and appreciate about you is since I've known who you were, even before I got a chance to meet you, you are always who you are, right? I mean, even if that's when you rocking them big socks and them big shoes and whatever, like that's who you are, man, right? That's who you are, and I can always appreciate and respect that, and you have taken that into everything that you do and putting your touch, your fingers on it, and that's to be respected. So what's next, Hardy? What's in the future, man? What does it hold for you?
You know, on the work side, it is more projects that we develop and partner with other people to do. And, you know, being able to collaborate with other filmmakers to make that happen. On like the social side, we have a program that we've been running called Amazing Stories. And basically it's a pipeline program where we train people from, you know, Metro Atlanta, from our neighborhoods, to get them ready for jobs on film and TV sets. That's a big thing.
That's awesome.
For us, because we want to be able to help give people jobs and opportunities. So we're in season 2 of that. So excited about that. Want to be able just to do more for FAMU. Want to be able to do more in Philly, where I'm from. And
big shot.
So what happened? Yeah, right. So we want to be able to do all that. And then also too, just on some man stuff, just have more time for the wife and boys, and also for friends, so we can go out and kick it and just kick back and just, you know, have a good time. So I want to do more of that too.
I love it, man. I love it. The last thing I want to ask is, you know, the transition related to like television, right? Because I know you were doing movies, you continue to do that, but every now and then I look up and it starts, you know, popping up. You're doing these television shows, which, you know, is amazing. How did that happen? And do you see continued work in, you know, no matter what you're doing on your projects or your amazing stories or other projects that you are developing, do you like that space? Do you want to stay in that space of television also?
I like them both, you know, TV and movies. Movies is like, as a director, you just pretty much do what you want to do. TV is a little bit more collaborative because you have the writers that like set the tone for every episode, and you are doing an episode of like the book for that season, right? But movies is more like every so often. So you may spend like 2 years developing a movie project, but TV, they're gonna be like, well, on June 13th, show up. So you can set your watch to that and have more of a real schedule. And it's funny, you know, how things happen, right? Because like with TV, me and Will were doing movies, and you know, because we produced Stomp the Yard together, I didn't direct that one because that was so big for us. It's like people forgot I was a director, so it was harder for me to get work. Even though I had a company, even though Will's my partner, it was harder for me to get movie work as a director. So TV opened up. And at the time, TV didn't really seem that sexy to me because, you know, it's like TV, like I'm doing movies, you know? But then as I started getting into TV, then TV started popping and blowing up. And again, that just goes back to the idea of sometimes you move in a direction before it's even, you know, fashionable to be in that place. It's like doing social justice or speaking up for what's right. Sometimes you just got to get out there and do it. And then you look up and you're like, oh, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You know, so that transition to TV was kind of like laid out for me. And it's been great, man. So whether it's like, you know, vampires, superheroes, drug dealers, or athletes, every you know, episode is like a whole new kind of story, a whole little mini movie.
I'll make sure to text you offline and get the insight of what episodes my middle son doesn't need to be watching, or when I need to cut the since I'm sure it's not for an 11-year-old. But again, man, we're so thankful how the Lord is blessing you all, and just the wonderful work you're doing, and being able to continue to chase your dreams and use your skills, man. We look forward to continuing to watch your path and enjoying this journey with you, man.
Hey, JB, I appreciate it, man. And shout out to you, man, for the platform, man. Like, you know, Black men's mental health is an important thing. And I think a lot of times, you know, we just take it on the chin and keep it moving and don't necessarily have like an outlet where we can really, you know, talk about stuff and, you know, hear about things that's going to help build us up mentally. So props to you on that, man.
Thank you, man. Hey, we'll talk more about the amazing stories. I want to hear how we can assist with that and make sure we get the word out as well. Cool?
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Hey, love to the family, love to the boys, and we'll catch back up. All right?
All right, man. Same to you, my man.
All right, brother. Love you. Respect.
All right. Love you too, man. Take it easy.